Title: 8 years ago, my brother stole my millionaire fiancé, the woman I was about to marry. Now, at our mother's funeral, he walked in with her, flashing his diamond ring, and said, "Poor you, still alone at 40. I got the woman, the money, and the mansion." I smiled, turned to him, and said, "Have you met my wife yet?" When I called her over, his face went pale, because actually, my wife was... Chapter 1. The funeral and the ghosts of the past 8 years. That's how long it had been since I last saw my brother. Not since the day I walked into my penthouse and found him kissing my fiancée. My then fiancée, Alyssa. The same woman I'd met during a charity auction, who once said she couldn't imagine life without me. The same woman who'd spent 2 years pretending to plan our wedding, only to vanish 1 week before it, leaving a 3-word note on my dresser. "It's your brother." I cut them both off. No dramatic confrontation, no revenge, just silence. I walked away from my life in New York, disappeared, and started over. But fate has a funny sense of humor. Today was our mother's funeral. It was raining, cold. My suit clung to my shoulders. The cemetery was quiet, except for the crunch of gravel as his footsteps approached behind me. I didn't turn at first. I didn't need to. His voice oozed the same arrogance it always had. "Poor you," he said with a smirk. "Still alone at 40? I got the woman, the money, and the mansion. Life's funny, huh?" I turned slowly, and there he was. Julian, my younger brother, taller now, wearing a custom Armani coat, his arm around Alyssa, who looked exactly like the last time I saw her, flawless and calculating. She held up her hand as if taunting me. A massive diamond ring glinted in the gray light. "Still single?" she asked sweetly. I didn't answer. I just smiled. "Have you met my wife yet?" They blinked. I turned slightly, lifted my hand, and beckoned. A graceful figure stepped out from the black SUV behind me, heels tapping softly on the gravel. When she reached my side, Julian's smirk vanished. His eyes widened. Alyssa's jaw tightened. Because the woman walking toward me was not just beautiful. She was the one person Julian thought he'd never see again, and the key to a plan I had been building for nearly 8 years. "This," I said calmly, "is my wife. But you may know her better as someone you once left humiliated in front of half your company. She used to be your executive assistant, remember?" His face turned a shade of ash. He remembered, and that's when I knew. They had no idea how much damage was already in motion. Chapter 2. Secrets, Tension, and the Setup. Julian stood frozen, as if his brain was struggling to reconcile the image before him. Beside me, my wife, Elena, extended her hand toward Alyssa, her smile razor-thin. "Alyssa," she said smoothly, "it's been a long time. The last time we met, you told me I wasn't good enough to be in the same room as your future husband." Alyssa's lips parted, but no sound came out. Her confidence was unraveling. Julian's voice broke through the tension. "Wait, you married her?" I smiled. "Oh, yes. I married the woman who worked behind the scenes while you two played king and queen. The one you berated in board meetings. The one you fired to make room for Alyssa's cousin. And she's now the CFO of a company you've been trying to invest in for 2 years. His jaw clenched. "That's not possible." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Oh, it's more than possible. It's poetic." They didn't know the half of it. Flashback. 8 years. Earlier, after Alyssa left, I disappeared. I moved across the country, cut ties, changed careers. My heart was in ruins, but I didn't let it harden. I let it focus. It was in Seattle that I met Elena. She was intelligent, humble, and had the kind of inner fire that couldn't be faked. She'd been working in corporate finance, underpaid, undervalued, and overlooked. I hired her as a consultant for a modest logistics business I'd quietly built, and we clicked. Professionally, personally, soulfully. We didn't rush into love. It grew from partnership, from shared late nights building budgets and strategy, from unspoken glances that said, "We're going to be something big." What Julian and Alyssa had was a lie built on seduction and ego. What we had was purpose. And now, Elena and I were the silent owners of one of the largest privately held logistics firms in the U.S., a firm that just happened to be in final acquisition talks with Julian's latest startup. He didn't know. Yet, back to the funeral. The silence returned. I looked around at the funeral guests, all family, all pretending not to hear, except one. My aunt leaned in and whispered, "You've changed." I smiled politely. Remember, I just finally started playing chess instead of checkers. Julian shifted uncomfortably. "So, what? This is revenge?" "No," I said calmly. "This is justice, and I haven't even unwrapped the real gift yet." Alyssa blinked. "What does that mean?" I checked my watch. "It means you two should probably check your inboxes before the reception. The NDA you both signed years ago? The one you thought was buried? Let's just say it's about to make headlines." Elena touched my hand gently. "Shall we go?" she asked. I nodded. "Yes, let's leave them to enjoy the storm." As we turned to leave, Julian frantically pulled out his phone. I didn't have to look back to know his world was already beginning to fall apart. Chapter 3. The storm hits. As Elena and I walked toward our car, the chill of the funeral morning gave way to something warmer. Satisfaction. We didn't say much. We didn't need to. Back at the hotel, I opened my laptop. Elena pulled out a bottle of wine, not for celebration, but for ceremony. This was a moment 8 years in the making. I logged into the private server. Operation Comeuppance. Live with a single keystroke. I triggered the release of 2 key documents to the media and several regulatory authorities. A detailed timeline of Julian's financial fraud, hidden under shell companies that he used to funnel investor money into luxury assets, including the mansion he had just shown off at the funeral. A clip from a private conversation, recorded by his own company's smartboard system, where he and Alyssa discussed insider trading related to a biotech merger she had access to through a former employer. Both were damning. Both were real. And both were legally obtained, thanks to the NDAs they smugly signed all those years ago when they used Elena's position to quietly embezzle and manipulate quarterly forecasts. That's the part Julian never understood. Elena wasn't just smart, she was patient, and I had become her scalpel. Hours later, Julian's voice was a shriek through the phone when he called me. "You bastard! What the hell did you do? My board just suspended me. Suspended, pending investigation. You think you've won?" I sipped my coffee. "No, Julian, I know I've won. You just don't know how deep this goes yet. This is illegal. I'll sue you." Elena kept copies of everything, Julian. Her name is still on the original documents. Remember the email she sent asking you to clarify a few financial entries you brushed off? Those emails now sit with federal investigators. "What about Alyssa? You're ruining her too." I paused, then said coldly, "She ruined herself when she laughed in my face the night before our wedding and climbed into your bed." Silence, then a faint, hollow whisper. "We were just kids." "No, Julian. I was a kid. You were a snake in a suit, and now everyone knows it." Meanwhile, across town, Alyssa was packing her things. The moment the scandal broke, her company terminated her. Her face was already trending on business gossip blogs. Her reputation was radioactive. She tried to call me, twice. I didn't answer. Then she tried Elena. Text, "I know I was wrong. I didn't deserve either of you. Please don't destroy us any further. Can we talk?" Elena forwarded the message to me without comment. I typed only one word in reply: "No." That night, Elena and I watched the news quietly as Julian's mugshot appeared on screen. High-profile startup executive Julian Reese arrested this evening following an SEC raid, prompted by insider trading and wire fraud allegations. More updates as the story develops. Elena raised her glass. "To poetic justice." I clinked mine with hers. "To closure." Chapter 4. Rock Bottom and Revelations. 2 weeks later, Julian's face was plastered across every major business outlet. Headlines screamed his downfall. Tech wunderkind implodes in SEC scandal. From CEO to cell block, Julian Reese behind bars. Power couple caught in fraud web. Alyssa James terminated amid investigation. His investors had pulled out. His board had dissolved the startup. The mansion he flaunted at our mother's funeral? Frozen assets. Even the diamond ring Alyssa bragged about, seized. But what really brought it full circle? A letter I received in the mail. From Julian, handwritten. "I don't expect forgiveness, but I need to say it. You were the better man. You always were. I destroyed everything I touched, including her. I never saw it until it was too late. The woman you married, Elena, I used to mock you for staying by her side. Now I see she's the only person in this entire story who actually grew stronger through pain. Please don't let her destroy me further. You've made your point. I've lost everything." I showed it to Elena. She didn't flinch. Instead, she picked it up and slowly folded it. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Closure isn't about giving them peace. It's about choosing not to let their ashes blow into your future." We burned the letter that night. Meanwhile, Alyssa tried her final play. She showed up at my apartment. Makeup smudged, hair disheveled, no cameras, no entourage. Just a woman who once thought she ruled my world, now begging to be let back in. "I didn't come for pity," she said. "I came because I don't know where else to go." I stood in the doorway, silent. "Everything's gone," she whispered. "He's in jail. I have no job, no money, no friends. I wake up screaming from the guilt. But when I saw you, happy, whole, I remembered what it felt like to be safe, and I ruined it." She paused. "Can we just talk?" I didn't yell. I didn't laugh. I just smiled softly and replied, "Alyssa, there's nothing left for us to talk about. You broke something I never tried to replace. I just built something better without you." Then I gently closed the door. Later that night, Elena and I sat in our quiet kitchen, watching the city lights flicker. "Do you feel better?" she asked. "I feel free," I said. She rested her head on my shoulder. "Not all revenge needs fire and fury," she murmured. "Sometimes the best revenge is peace." Chapter 5. The Final Toast, 6 months later. The world had moved on, Julian's court date made headlines for a few weeks before being buried beneath newer scandals. Alyssa attempted a short-lived redemption arc online, but the public wasn't interested in a disgraced ex-fiancé tied to fraud. As for me, I didn't just survive, I thrived. I had launched a new consulting firm, quiet, under the radar, and 100% mine. No partners, no sharks in the tank, just me and a carefully selected team. Within months, we had more clients than we could handle. Apparently, a man who walked away from betrayal with silence and strategy intrigued people. Elena and I had become something I never expected, true partners. We didn't pretend the past hadn't happened. Instead, we built something honest atop the wreckage. Stronger, calmer, real. And then came the night of my 40th birthday. I didn't throw a party. Instead, Elena handed me a glass of whiskey, kissed me on the cheek, and said, "Come out to the balcony." There, under the glow of city lights, stood a small table, 2 chairs, 1 cake, and a little red envelope. I opened it. Inside was a single photo. Me at 28, dressed for a wedding that never happened. Alone, hurt, hollow. On the back, Elena had written, "You were never broken. You were just being carved into the man you were meant to become. Happy birthday." My eyes welled up, but I didn't cry. I lifted my glass and toasted the night sky. "To betrayal," I said, smiling, "because sometimes it sets you free." Epilogue. Months later, I heard from a friend that Julian had struck a plea deal. He'd serve time, then disappear into obscurity. Alyssa? Rumor had it she was working retail under a fake name out of state. No more glamour, no more applause. But me? I didn't need revenge anymore. Because the best revenge wasn't watching them suffer. It was standing taller, rising further, and living a life so full and peaceful. Their names felt like dust in the wind. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy, and subscribe to Lauren's Story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.